Did you ever notice that most of us were never actually taught how money works? Like, at all? Seriously, think about it for a second. We spent 12 years in school sweating over algebra equations we haven't looked at since. We memorized historical dates that we can just Google in 5 seconds. We wrote 10-page essays on the symbolism of a blue curtain in a novel. We even dissected frogs in biology class. Frogs! But when it comes to managing the one thing we all use literally every single waking day of our lives, money, we got absolutely nothing. Zip. Zero. No one sat us down and explained how to handle that first paycheck so you don't blow it all in a weekend. No one explained how to build credit without ruining your life, how to avoid those predatory debt traps, or how to actually grow wealth instead of just watching it evaporate. And that is exactly why so many people today are stuck on the hamster wheel, living paycheck to paycheck. They are constantly stressed out, drowning in loans, and feeling like financial freedom is just a buzzword for rich people on Instagram. Does that sound familiar to you? Have you ever felt like you work incredibly hard, you put in the hours, but somehow your money pulls a vanishing act before the month even ends? You are not alone. Millions of people feel exactly the same way. And let's be clear, it's not because you're lazy, it's not because you aren't smart, it's simply because you were sent out into the world without the manual.
The truth is, financial literacy is the foundation of everything. Without it, money is your abusive boss. With it, you are the boss. And by extension, you control your future. Here is the good news, and I mean this. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter if you have $10 or $10,000, and it doesn't matter how messy your finances are right now. Anyone can learn this stuff. It's not rocket science, it's just habits. And once you get it, your whole perspective changes. Imagine this. What would your life look like if you didn't have a mini panic attack every time a bill arrived? What if you could wake up and know your savings are actually growing, your debts are shrinking, and your money is working for you while you sit on the couch? That is what financial literacy gives you. It stops money from being a source of stress and turns it into a tool. And that is what this series, Financial Literacy from Scratch, is all about. We are going to undo the damage of the education system together, step by step.
Here's a little preview of the rescue mission. First up, budgeting. Now, I know, when people hear the word budget, they immediately imagine a life of misery where you could never buy a latte again. That is not what it's about. Budgeting is just telling your money where to go so you don't have to wonder where it went. Second, saving money. You might be thinking, buddy, I barely make enough to cover rent. How am I supposed to save? Trust me, even the small amounts matter. I'll show you how to build the habit, even if it's just finding a few dollars a week in the couch cushions. Third, we're going to dive into debt and credit. Because let's be honest, credit cards can be your best friend who gets you free flights or your worst enemy who breaks your kneecaps. Most people fall into traps simply because they don't read the fine print. By the end of this, you'll know how to use credit without it using you. And of course, investing. Don't panic. I am not going to throw complicated Wall Street jargon at you. We aren't trying to be the Wolf of Wall Street here. We'll keep it simple. Stocks, funds, compound interest. The goal is to make money while you sleep, which is the best way to make money. Finally, we'll talk about the mindset. Because believe it or not, 80% of being good with money isn't math, it's psychology. If you've ever felt guilty spending or avoided checking your bank account out of pure fear, that's your mindset acting up. We'll fix that.
Let me ask you, have you ever gotten your paycheck, felt like a millionaire for about 4 hours, and then 2 weeks later looked at your account wondering, did I get robbed? Or maybe you promised yourself this month would be different, that you'd finally save, but somehow you ended up buying stuff you don't need. That's not because you're bad with money. It's because you're human and you weren't given the tools. That is exactly what we're going to change. If you've ever felt like money was a mystery or that freedom was impossible, this series is going to prove you wrong. This is the start of your journey from zero knowledge to actually knowing what you're doing. Are you ready? Ready to stop letting your wallet bully you? Because from this moment on, we aren't just talking about it. We're doing it. Let's begin.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your bank account a few days after payday and honestly thought there was a bank error? You had plans. You swore this month you were going to be responsible, and yet somehow the money evaporated into thin air. If that sounds familiar, congratulations, you are normal. Studies show nearly 60% of people live paycheck to paycheck. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be a tragedy. There is a simple formula to fix this.
Let's start with the basics. Income versus expenses. Sounds obvious, right? Money in, money out. But here's the catch. Most people have no clue what those numbers actually are. Think of your income as water flowing into a bucket. That's your paycheck, maybe a side hustle. Now, expenses are the holes in that bucket. Rent, groceries, bills, but also the random subscriptions you forgot to cancel, the 2 a.m. Amazon purchases, the delivery apps. If you never look at the size of those holes, the bucket will always be empty, no matter how much water you pour in. So here is your challenge. For just 1 month, write down everything. And I mean everything. That coffee? Write it down. That streaming service you haven't watched in 6 months? Write it down. You will be horrified by how much money leaks out of your bucket on absolute nonsense. Pop quiz. If I asked you right now, how much did you spend last week on stuff you didn't actually need? Could you answer? Most people can't. That's why you're broke.
Okay, once you face the horror of your spending, how do you organize it? That's where the 50-30-20 rule comes in. It's the holy grail. 50% of your income goes to needs. That's keeping the lights on, a roof over your head, and food in the fridge, the boring stuff. 30% goes to wants, dining out, travel, hobbies, buying a video game, the stuff that makes life worth living. And 20% goes to savings and investments. That's for future you, so future you isn't eating cat food. Simple, right? Let's say you take home $3,000. That's $1,500 for survival, $900 for fun, and $600 for the future. That means every month you are automatically building a safety net. Now, I hear you screaming, I can't save 20%, my rent is too high. Okay, fair enough. Maybe for you, it starts at 5%. Or 1%, that's fine. What matters isn't the number right now, it's the habit. The 50-30-20 rule isn't a law of physics, it's a framework. Without a framework, you're lost. With it, you have a map.
Now, let's talk about how to stop the cycle of doom. Here is the secret. Pay yourself first. Most people do this backwards. They pay bills, they buy stuff, they go out, and then if there are any crumbs left over, they save. Spoiler alert, there are never crumbs left over. Ever. Flip the script. The second your paycheck hits, take a cut, even if it's tiny, and move it to a savings account that is hard to touch. Automate it. Treat your savings account like a bill collector that will break your legs if you don't pay. If you save $200 a month for 5 years, that's $12,000. Add investing and it's way more. That is how you build freedom. Not by waiting for extra money, because extra money is a myth, but by stealing it from yourself before you can spend it.
Before we wrap up, let's cover the rookie mistakes people make with budgeting. First, not tracking expenses. If you don't measure it, you can't manage it. You're flying blind. Second, only saving the leftovers. We covered this. Don't do it. Third, being a monk. If your budget is so strict that you can't buy a candy bar, you will quit in 3 days. You need balance. Fourth, forgetting the unexpected. Cars break. Teeth break. Birthdays happen. If you don't plan for irregular expenses, they will wreck you. Budgeting isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. If you avoid these traps, you are already winning. So here's the takeaway. Budgeting isn't a punishment. It's about control. Control over your money, your future, and your freedom. Your challenge this week is simple. Track every single expense and try to fit it into the 50-30-20 rule. Start small, but start now. Because remember, if you don't tell your money where to go, it will leave you without saying goodbye. And trust me, it won't go where you want it to. Now, I want to hear from you. Share your results in the comments. Was it easy? Did you cry looking at your bank statement? Share the wins, share the pain.
And before you go, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Next time, we're diving into saving money, simple strategies to stack cash, and why even the smallest steps can stop you from being broke forever. See you then.